Isn't that what we all do?
Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for more of our Gencon Bonanza Explosion Blowout coverage, brought to you by our amazing sponsors, Tasty Minstrel Games. Bleem Games is coming out with Dark Mages later this year, and then Medieval Lords is coming out with Black Souls, so be sure to check those out. But right now, we're about to learn about a game that I'm sure a lot of people are super stoked about. We're about to talk about Pandemic Legacy 2 with Steve. We're at the Z-Man Games booth. So what can you tell us about the upcoming Pandemic Legacy Season 2?
That's a tough question right there. I think what speaks for itself, if you look at the art here behind me, it's the theme and the setting. You know, we're now jumping forward 70 years into the future. You have this post-apocalyptic feel going on where you have these havens that are camped out in the ocean, and people are there trying to supply the mainland with all sorts of things, with medical supplies, with food, and you have these cities that they call on the grid. So you only have about a dozen or so cities that people know about, and everything else has gone dark. So now you actually need to re-explore the globe, find out what happened to these other cities, why did they fall off the grid, where are they, and that's about as much as I think I could say without delving into too much detail.
All right, now is this going to be, will there be any sort of connection from your original game to this game, anything you will be able to carry over?
To do something like that would kind of force you to go back in the narrative to start at ground zero and almost render the old decisions pointless. And so the designers are very clever and said, you know what, let's jump forward enough where there's a difference in time. Okay. Let's allow people to just jump in if they want. You know, maybe some people didn't go to the first one and said, I'm not really into that pandemic thing, but they saw this and went, hang on, maybe I should now take a look at it. So you don't need any prior experience with the game. You don't need to have played Season 1, but there are some really cool Easter eggs or you know, narrative elements that you go, oh, wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge. So.
And is this still Davio and Leacock?
It is. It is.
And does it still go by the month-by-month format? Can you tell us that?
It does go by the month-by-month format. Something that people are accustomed to, you know, that worked really well in the first one, so it does go. In fact, you can see that on the game board, and if you want to take a shot, we actually do have those on display.
Yeah, could we walk over there real quick? And
we can come see the tent. Let's check it out.
All right, and what was the other question I had? When is the release date for this one expected to be?
This fall.
This fall.
With something that's in such large quantity like this, it's really tough to get nailed down an exact date at this point. But as you can see, we've actually got some people demoing here that have just started. So you can see the board. If you take a look, you'll see in the same location actually has the month-by-month thing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
All right, and you basically what that's telling you is those are the supplies you get. So in this game, instead of like with Pandemic, you're trying to remove and treat disease, right? You're trying to prevent disease. In this one, you're actually trying to supply. Instead of it being a removal game, it's a pick up and deliver. You need to get supplies elsewhere. So you're trying to put cubes on the board. You want your supply cubes out. If there are no supply cubes, then, and the card is drawn from the infection deck, then a plague cube comes out. So it's kind of like, if you think of like a linear line here, instead of you taking away cubes like you did in the old one, you want to supply them, but if it goes below, it's really, really bad. You can't cure the plague when the game starts.
Okay. Now, does this share similar mechanisms with the original Pandemic, or is this a completely different beast?
I mean, you still travel the same way, right? There's no air travel because of the setting right now. That doesn't exist. So you can sail. That's kind of the go far air traveling mechanism you have is sailing, but you have to be in a port. So, you know, as you go more inland and try and look at cities, you can't sail where there ain't no water, right? So there are familiar parts of what you're going to expect from a Pandemic game being, you know, zoomed out to this scale on a map. But I mean, it introduces some really cool new things. It really does.
All right, very, very.
They pulled out all the stops. I mean, they really did.
And is Pandemic Legacy Season 3 planned?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So that is Pandemic Legacy Season 2 coming out from Z-Man Games. I mean, obviously, you're probably going to get this one because it looks really crazy. It looks like they're doing new stuff, too, which is really kind of cool. So that is Pandemic Legacy Season 2 from Z-Man Games. It looks like it might be a cup of tea. Be sure to check that one out. And if this were a post-apocalyptic wasteland, what do you think your role would be in a post-apocalyptic wasteland?
Oh, man. Sanitation engineer? There's got to be a lot of stuff to clean up, right?
I think I'd be I'd probably be just a drifter. I'd probably just get drunk all day and just sing. I don't know what I'd do.
How miserable life is, right?
Let me know in the comments below. What would you do in the post-apocalyptic wasteland? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.